A very good morning to you Kenyan citizens, karibu sana, and this is the current affairs segment, your trusted source for the latest news, set for discussions and impactful stories shaping our nation and beyond. My name is Angela Kabete. Today it's me and you. We're going to uncover the truth behind what has been happening that is in our country and beyond. So make sure that you interact with us on our social media handles, that is on Facebook and YouTube at Mizpah Tv Kenya. Hashtag is the NURU current affairs. Tuambie unatutazama ukiwa pande gani. Also give us your views on what you think on the things that you're going to check out that is today. So make sure that you stay tuned as we break it down right here, right now. Karibuni sana. And before anything else, it is always our norm to give you that is the verse of the day. And today's verse comes from that is Ephesians 3:20, and this is what it says. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. That part kwenye inaanza now unto him who is able to do. It means that God power is unlimited. He works beyond humans' imaginations or ability, beyond our expectations. He's not restricted by our circumstances or the difficult moments that we go through, because you can agree with me that each and every one of us, there are those times that are so difficult, but the verse of today is reminding us that God works beyond our human expectations. And also hapo kwenye inasema that who is able to do exceedingly abundantly. God can exceed your expectations, what you pray for, what you hope for, or what you dream. He can even do more. And also bringing that aspect here, his power works within you as a believer. You're not working alone. So each and every day when you're going through a difficult moment, who are the first people that you contact? Who are the first people that you run to? Do you remind yourself that you're not alone in this journey, even when you feel you're experiencing the difficult moments or the desperate moments? Do you remind yourself that, you know what, I'm not alone, I'm having God. He's my strength, he's my refuge. That is what the verse of today is reminding us. And also don't forget, you as a believer, as a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit that is there to lead you, to counsel you, and to align you into the will and the purposes of God. And knowing this as a believer, at least it builds your confidence that when you pray, God is listening and God is not distant. Even in the midst of chaos, God is still there. Kwa hivyo make sure that you put your hope in God each and every day, and indeed God is faithful to do exceedingly abundantly each and every day. And now that is the verse of the day. I believe it's an encouragement for you as our viewer. It's going to motivate you for the whole of the day. And now let's hear about what has been happening, because you know each and every day there are new stories, and it is our responsibility to making sure that you as a Kenyan citizen out there is updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. Now I have that is the Daily Nation and the Standard, but you're going to start with the Standard. And in the Standard, these are some of the highlights of what to be checking out. Tutangalia that is the health sector, and then I'll be checking out that is matters to do with the economy, matters to do with the employment, that is human interest, matters to do with leadership and governance, and they'll be checking out that is matters to do with politics, a little bit of it. I can see also the Standard, they have matters to do with that is leadership and the governance and the health sector as well. Now let's start with the Standard. There is a story that seems so interesting, that is page 1. One of the highlights that I've mentioned that we check, that is matters to do with leadership and governance. And let me remind you, the old age philosophy always says that if you want to win the heart of the people as a leader, bring the aspect of servanthood leadership. And I believe that is what our president during the campaign alifanya. He brought the aspect of servanthood leadership. Nitawafanyia hii na hii na hii. You know, sisi wote, even to a point of also calling himself as hustler. But do you feel as a Kenyan citizen the term hustler nation still exists up to date? And that's why on the Daily Nation, they call it promises versus the reality. And that is what we'll be checking out. And you know, back when the Kenya entered, when we entered, that is the 2025, inflation was fluctuating between 37 to 9%. Fuel prices rising above, that is 200 per liter. Unemployment over, that is 12% among the young people. And then national debt surpassing, that is 10 trillion. And then food prices increasing by, that is 15 to the 20th% on 1 year. And the administration and the leadership that we are having, that is led by a president, that is Ruto, they had major promises, that is in health, agriculture, the cost of living, finance and economy, and education itself. And many of these promises were tied, that is in between 2024 and 2025. And that's why they're calling it, that is the promises versus the reality. And it reads, scorecard, it's a mixed bag for President William Ruto as he makes his third State of Nation address, that is today. While in his administration has scored some success in agriculture, cost of living, economy and infrastructure, the education and the health sector are still a big challenge. I believe you as a Kenyan citizen, you have to say something, especially when it comes to the health sector, that is matters to do with SHA, because SHA has been staggering for long, but at least we can see the improvements that are being made. But despite the improvements, what about the fraud cases in tunaona millions being lost each and every day? And at a glance, the question anauliza, what's your plan, Mr. President? So, you as a Kenyan citizen, are you having the same question for him? Amani, the Daily Nation Fekiake. That is the question that they're asking Mr. President. And then at a glance, they have highlighted, that is President's 2024 pledges versus the achievements that he has made. And that is, when it comes to the healthcare, the promise was to implement universal health coverage and ensure equitable access to reduce corruption and improve efficiency. So this is a promises. This is the promises that our president made when it comes to the health sector, ensuring equitable access and reduce corruption to improve efficiency. Talking about corruption is still something that they really need to work on, because we have experience that is last month and this month, the Auditor General revealing many cases when it comes to the corruption, especially in the SHA sector. Some finances are missing, things are not working out as they're supposed to be working. The funds that are being allocated to finance various health sector, health sector has gender, but still say corruption is a big challenge. They really need to work on it. And then it comes to that is the current status now of the promise versus the current sector status. A shared debt crisis, that is 76 billion persist. And then Rufa hospitals owed 15 billion. Many have abandoned SHA. And then healthcare remains expensive despite more registered health facility. Don't forget, the main idea, the reason as to why he brought the SHA sector was to make the health sector, the healthcare services easily available to every Kenyan citizen and not expensive. But is it what Kenyans are experiencing out there? And then when it comes to the agriculture and the cost of living, the promise was to reduce inflation and the cost of living through improved food production. And the current status, inflation fell to 2.7%, lowest in 17 years. But the question is this: even if the inflation, according to the figure that you're being given, that is 2.7%, ilianguka up to 2.7%, can the Kenyans really feel the impact of inflation falling to 2.7%? Because people out there, they don't feel it, according to the opinions of many out there. They don't feel the impact of inflation because things are expensive. We expect after inflation imeenda chini, things are not going to be expensive. When it comes to the currency, things are going to be smooth. But that is not the reality. Food is expensive, the cost of livelihoods is still expensive, school fees are expensive. So I don't think Kenyans are feeling the impact of it. And then import dependency ratio dropped to that is 17.3%, showing improved local production. But why is food expensive? And then when it comes to finance and economy, the promise was to stabilize the shilling and strengthen the economy. At least you can see that that has happened. The shilling is stable right now. And then another promise was to promote GDP, that is the gross domestic product growth, and job creation. But many people, especially the young people, are complaining of unemployment, and that's why most of them wanaendea kazi za majuu. Okay, and we'll see when it comes to the job creation. The president amekuwa akimention matters to do with the housing project. One of the things that amekuwa akisema that is one of the way he has created job employment for the young people. But is it truly enough? And then when it comes to the current status now, it comes to that is financial and economy. The current status is shilling appreciated from that is 162 to 129 to the dollar. That is 20% gain. We can say that's a good thing. And then when it comes to the GDP growth, it is slowed to 4.7% in 2024, up from 5.7% in 2023. That's not good. That's not a good thing. And then it comes to matters to do with creation of employment. 782,000 new jobs created. Informal sector accounts for that is 90%. These are some of the figures that are being given to us on the scorecard of our president. And then the key sector, that is the education. Tumeona education imekuwa na crisis mingi sana. Talking of the ghost schools, ghost learners, lecturers wamemaliza strike a few days ago. Imekuwa tuna issues mingi, classrooms, the CBC sector hawapati vitabu because the government owes money to those who are producing the KICD. Just a lot of crisis. And now let's see the promises that the president made. The promise was to resolve teacher shortages. Indeed, we can say he's working on that. And stabilize universities. And then secondly is to improve access and quality at all levels of learning. When you say improving access and quality at levels of learning, you can agree with me, some areas people are complaining that school fees is expensive and parents are worried coming January if school fees itaongezeka ama itabaki the same, you know, because if the government doesn't release the capitation that they're supposed to release, and that is what has been happening for, that is a few months they have not been releasing the capitation, and the reason or the excuse that they were given is because they're still doing the audit report, they're doing investigation on the ghost schools or the ghost learners, so that wajue ni pesa ngapi watapeana when it comes to the schools, that is the capitation. Wamekuwa na excuses mingi, and you know, if they fail to release this capitation, mzigo inaangukia, that is the principal, the head teacher. They are wanajikuta wame raise school fees, or at the end of the day the common mwananchi suffers. Why? You as a parent, you go back to your pocket, unafanya nini? After going back to your pocket, unatoa pesa za kununua vitabu, because if the capitation, the government doesn't release, that is pesa ndio vitabu zikuwa released. At the end of the day, you end up buying, that is the books. And then let's check that is the current status. 76,000 teachers that have been hired, and then 24,000 more to be hired At least this is a good day, because we saw a president, he gave a statement, I think it's this week, yeah. Alisema, at least for me in my leadership, I've tried making sure that we get to employ many teachers as possible. They said in 3 years we expected he would have employed 200,000 teachers, unlike other governments that have been there before. They get to employ only 5,000 teachers in an year. So let's say this is a scorecard for him. And then universities, talking about universities, increased from that is 70 to 72, but funding declined from 30 billion to 12.9 billion. This ain't a good thing with the current status. Lecturers working strike, it's not a good thing. And when it comes to the hard loans, increased to that is 46.9 billion. But lecturers strike disrupted the learning. Talking about help, don't forget kumekuwa an issue because their students, they're ghost learners when it comes to the public universities who have been receiving the funds. When it comes to the health sector, and they don't deserve it because they're ghost learners, students who literally they don't exist, ama they were there alafu wakatoka, but still they've been receiving that is the hub loans, which is not a good thing. I believe the government is still doing something about it, but apart from doing something about it, they should tell Kenyans this the fund is being released to the ghost learners, and this is the amount that you'll be able to recover. But we have not seen that happening. I hope that will happen. We're yet to see about it, but we'll say this is a good thing, the government releasing the scorecard for a president, because it provides voters with transparent scorecard coming that is 2027 election, because we Caribbean that is season your campaign, and also this is going to create a pressure on government institutions to justify their progress. The reason as to why sijafanya hivi, but we expect some of them watasema sijafanya hivi but I need more time. That will be on you as a common manager to decide whether you're going to give them another chance to lead you, and also to shape that is political conversations, especially around the cost of living and public service delivery. And the story is on page 4 and 5. I don't think we're going to check it deeply because I think it's just a repetition of what I have said, but the difference is hapa wameelate on specific areas and department, unless there is one that I've not checked out. I think we've checked out that is the education, tumeangalia that is the universities, yeah, and then tumeangalia matters to do with employment. I can see they say 782,000 the number of jobs created. That's something that we have checked. And then the 2025, they have related the 2025 economy survey, and it says the reduction in inflation was attributed to lower food and energy prices, as well as the central bank's effort to maintain the price stability throughout tight monetary policies. You know, the work of the Central Bank of Kenya is to make sure that to maintain the stability of prices and the economy itself. So according to them, they say they have done the good job making sure that food and energy prices are low. So I don't know kama mambo kwa ground ni the same. I think the thing that I've not mentioned here matters to do with security. Probably that is the only thing that I'm going to check out. Then we head over to other stories. In governance, peace and security, President Ruto said there was no attempt to justify or excuse illegal arrests such as will be threats to life and liberty to citizens. He went on and condemned any excessive or extrajudicial action which put the life and liberty of any person at risk, at risk, including disappearances and threats. So this is something that I believe Kenyans wamekuwa kingoja kusikia what the president have to say about this. But at least hajakata, you said that there is no attempt or excuse to justify what happened, that is in between last year and this year, since last year June up to date, that is the abductions, disappearances of the activists, extrajudicial killings, the police using that is excess force, and other things that people getting injured. A lot of things that you've seen happen. And this is what he said: I urge Kenyans with information about such cases to forward information to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, where suspect members of the police service to be implicated. President Ruto, that is what he said on his second address to the nation. Even with the assurance cases of the enforced disappearances, kidnapping, abductions, and excessive use of force by security agencies and human rights defenders, other Kenyans continued to be reported. So I hope they do something about it, because you know that is the United Nations and the Human Rights Commission, they released a report and they wanted the government to act on what has been happening. So I believe they're going to work on it. That is matters to do with security and the scorecard of our president. Tuambie wewe kama mwananchi, maoni yako ni yapi? Are you satisfied with the scorecard, the promises versus the reality? What do you have to say about that? We would be so happy, so glad to hear from you. Hizi vitu zenye nimesoma uko kwa ground, uko nje, I think matching what I've read today. Ama kwa ground mambo ni different. That is talk to us on 07 99 200 100. I'll be so glad and happy to hear from you as a Kenyan citizen. And now, another stories that is matters to do with kazi mtaani, ama another name that is given, that is kazi za juu scheme. They call it confusion and pain. Do you know the backstory of this is Kenya youth unemployment rate has consistently ranged between that is 35 to 40%, with the over 5 million young people struggling to find a stable income. And the government has been running short-term of job initiatives to caution that is the young people. And you know, in the past programs like Kazi Mtaani, the original version, over 280,000 youths were benefiting from it, but we don't see it working right now. And however, many youths are focused on financial schemes that have faced criticism, delay of payments, poor structure, and lack of accountability. And in 2025, the cost of living surge, food inflation hovering around that is 18 and 20% each has affected the young people extremely. And that's why the page one, in the page one of the Daily Nation, the headline reads: confusion, pain as Kazi as a Maju scheme lands 100 of youths in financial trouble. I think this is something that we saw happening, that is, I think 2 months ago, to let the young people, they were promised kazi za Maju, umelipa, then you find that this agency doesn't exist. And let's head over to page 2 and 3 and see what they have for us. And page 2 and 3, at a glance, they have highlighted some figures that I'm going to read briefly. I won't read all of them. 200,000 amount in Kenyan shillings that were wired to the youth fund to recruitment agencies per candidate. And then 700 number of youths who were recruited by the agencies and in Nairobi and the coast region. Out of the 200,000, only 700 were recruited. And then 14 number of hours, some youths say they are expected to work. According to the new office letters, this double the 7 hours stipulated in the first office letter that they got. Now they have doubled the number of working hours, that is from 7 to 14. And then 3, that is 3 months, after which the youths were supposed to have been placed in their new jobs abroad. So we have not seen that happening, but you can see here that they have mentioned a few statements. They have highlighted a few statements that is from the Kenyan citizens who have been affected by these plans or what I've just mentioned in kazi za majuu. Also the statement that is Alfred Mutua, and also Musalia Mudavadi was not left behind, but that is page 2 of the Daily Nation. They say some of the youth quit their local jobs to prepare for the new ones abroad and have now remained unemployment for months. This is very sad. We wanaacha kazi kijua in the next 1 month mimi naenda majuu kufanya kazi, and then that doesn't happen. At the end of the day, life is going to be hard on you because things are expensive. You need food, you need just pesas rent. Probably you're a student. This is not good for Kenyan citizens. And they say what was sold as a golden opportunity for Kenyan youth to work abroad has turned into a nightmare for hundreds who feel they were duped into taking loans to secure the job. So the government should work on this. That is months after applying for the jobs abroad under the government initiative. They call it, that is kazi za majuu. Kazi majuu initiative. The loans borrowed from the youth fund have matured and deductions have been initiated, yet they're still waiting to secure the promised employment. Some who resigned, some of them, as I mentioned, they resigned from their jobs, okay, with the hope ya kuenda majuu, but that has not really happened. So the government should work on this and making sure that these people wameshughulikiwa. And to those, don't forget, those people who wakonda wale wenye walikuwa wameenda, you remember that is a few months ago, kuna watu waliuza mashamba wakalipa, but unfortunately these agencies doesn't exist. I hope the government is still working on making sure that these people are either compensated or they do a deep investigation into making sure they find those fake agencies. And then here there are just many stories of Kenyan citizens on how they quitted their jobs, they took the loans, and other stories as well. And you can see here they say that applicants were further informed that if their travel plans collapse, the recruiting agency and not the youth would be responsible for refunds. There are procedures to follow. We cannot just wake up and ambush anyone. Everything must follow the laid process. That is what the officials say. That is according to them. Probably they're trying to give a reason as to why all could expect in the next 1 month utakuwa umeenda kazi majuu, but you've not ujaenda bado. And then that is the Labor Cabinet Secretary, you know, his name is Alfred Mutua, said qualified youth are expected to travel within 3 to 6 months after applying. Nothing that delays beyond that period are unacceptable. Him being in that department, then you should address all of these issues and explain to Kenya and say, come out clearly, this is why this and that is happening. Because kuna watu wamekuwa delayed even for more than that 6 months that he's mentioning, and he's saying that it is unacceptable. He added that the government continues to vet recruitment agencies to ensure strict adherence to labor migration. He also cautioned applicants against dealing with firms that are advertising positions that are not listed on the NAA portal. That is what he said. He further dismissed the New York Times allegations that the government is selling Kenyans cheaply to foreign employment, insisting that salaries vary according to the job categorized and qualifications. Professional jobs pay differently from positions like cleaning, domestic works, and other jobs as well. So Dr. Mutua, he also warned Kenyans against traveling abroad on tourist visas with intention of seeking work, saying that this exposes them to legal challenges and exploitation. Please, Kenyans, take note of that. If you're applying for a job, you're not going for tourism. Specifically, you're going for our jobs. That is that is the CS of labor. And I'll say that Kenyans migrating abroad must have this is what you need: traveling insurance cover. And I wish to state that no single insurance company has the monopoly to cover Kenyans seeking jobs in the Gulf or any other countries. Individuals and Kenyans recruitment agencies are liberty to choose their preferred insurance company. These are some of the things that they are mentioned, so make sure that you're a Kenyan citizen. You also stay alert, okay? I get it, fraudsters and other things as well. And that is what we had to check out on matters to do with employment. Let's check out something else. Matters to do with that is the health sector, specifically SHA. SHA imekuwa mention, I don't know, since SHA ianze kufunction, that is last year. Haijawahi kosa kwa gazeti, but let's check it out. Governance blame SHA funding gaps for death of that is 934 babies. That is really a sad story. That is not something good at all. And you know, the backstory of this is Kenya loses, according to figures that were released, or statistics, Kenya loses about that is 500 to 6,000 infants annually due to preventable conditions. And when it comes to maternity and mortality ratios, it sits around that is 355 deaths per that is 100,000 life. But these are some of the reports. And when it comes to that is universal health care rollout, it requires billions, but counties often receive that is 30 to 40% less than what is budgeted. And now that is the Social Health Authority was created to streamline financing, but counties claim they experienced repeated delays in disbursements. We said at the end of the day, mwenye anaumia ni the common wananchi, the patient who is visiting that hospital. It comes to the delay in disbursements of these funds. And then that is in 2024, 2025, the 2024-2025, the health budgets were underfunded by an estimate of that is 20 to 30 billion, that is nationally. And now let's check out that story is in page 14. And you can say the government should work on that issue, disbursement of funds. Because especially when it comes to the health sector, it's a serious thing, especially when it comes to dealing with the lives of people and the Kenyan citizen. As I mentioned, that is 934 babies dies as the governors are blaming SHA funding gaps. And the governors say that the SHA decision has already led to a drop in facility-based deliveries. Kenya has lost that is 934 babies, and raising alarms over maternal and neonatal care. Governors has warned that the Ministry of Health decision not to fund deliveries at level 2 facilities and clinics could reverse gains in reducing death of mothers and newborns across the countries. And the Council of Governors yesterday, they threatened to pull out of SHA, that is the Social Health Authority, if it doesn't streamline that is services delivery and fund the grassroots of health facility. Don't forget, the teachers are still expected to join the same SHA that is having the same crisis, and they say that you're going to pull out of SHA if it continues with this behavior. And now let me ask, if they pull out of the SHA system, have they solved the problem itself? Because what Kenyans really need is a solution. If they pull out, they're going to join that is the insurance facilities, policies and everything. But what about the Kenyan citizen? Why can't we hear them say this is the solution? The SHA has failed in this sector? Because don't forget, these are the leaders that you as a Kenyan citizen, you haven't trusted them. okay, to make decisions. But for them, can you say they're being self-centered? They're forgetting that we have Kenyans, saying that they're going to pull out of SHA if it continues with this behavior of not reimbursing the claims of level 2 and even level 3 hospitals. And they say in our level 2 and 3 facilities between January and July, we conducted that is 1,000 deliveries which went unclaimed. And we want this matter to be addressed urgently. The statement came from Mandera Governor. His name is Adan Khalif, and he added that a dispensary he added another story about a dispensary that is in Mandera, and alikuwa anasema that deliveries at the dispensary unajua the dispensaries hawajakubaliwa kufanya that is delivery services, and anasema they should be allowed to do that. And other many stories that they have violated here. I hope that the government will work on this, because on this scorecard, yeah, the president, tumeona SHA has been mentioned, and also the president pia akipeana speech, he doesn't forget to mention SHA. And at the end of the day, the SHA system was brought in order to make that is the livelihood of Kenyan citizens easy and good. But if you're losing 934 babies, those are the babies that have died, because of the SHA system. It's kwa level 2 and level 3, it's not financing that is in the maternal care. What do you have to say about that as a Kenyan citizen? Okay, because it doesn't sound like a good thing at all. Please talk to us on 0799 200 100. Utuambie maoni yako ni yapi. I'd be so glad to hear from you. Those are some of the stories that we had to check out today. For today, I've not read all the stories because there are very, very many stories. Kuna matters to do with legal and crime, kuna sports. There are just many stories on the Daily Nation. You can grab a copy that is of the Daily Nation. Also, kuna politics. Naona hapa that is among the highlights. Nimesema to check out matters to do with the ODM party. You can check out so that you can stay updated as a Kenyan citizen of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. I can't forget to mention that Mizpah House of Prayer will be hosting that is the annual prophetic prayer congress that is going to happen this coming month, that is December, from the 1st to the 5th of December 2025. And trust me when I tell you, the heavens are opened, the atmosphere is shut. Come ready to receive your miracle. I really don't know what is that one thing that you'll be trusting God to do for you. Is it healing? Unataka uponyaji? The different things, the different prayer requests that umekuwa ukisubmit unto God. Please purpose to attend to this meeting, because we have great and powerful servants of God who will be there to minister to us and impact us with more grace. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. It is an interdenominational meeting. Okay, all people of all age groups, all churches, nyinyi wote mmekaribishwa kabisa for accommodation purposes, because we'll be having many people. Mimi sitaki ukose mahali pa kulala jamani. For the whole week, at least you get to spend your time in the presence of God. Get to contact 07 277 66553 and be so glad to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in for this segment that is the current affairs. My name is Angela Kabete. And till next time, may God bless you abundantly. Have a productive day ahead. Bye-bye.